Hello, guys, and welcome to day one or day two of 90 days with 90 days data science with Python. So today we'll be looking at variables. So if you missed day one was focused on installing and setting up your development environment. So today is day two. So we're going to be talking about variables in Python. So what are variables? Variables are just a container that we use to store data values, right? So imagine that you have a container in your home that you can store water there, or you have another one that you can store fruits, right? So that is what variables are. So variables will hold data of a particular type. So and the good thing in Python is that Python, you don't need to explicitly declare a variable before you use it. So you can just write x is equals to 10. Now imagine that in C we used to do like int y is 10, for example. But in Python we don't need to declare int, right? You just do x is this, and it's very intelligent to just know that you're declaring an integer. We can do name as string, we can do height like this for floating point numbers, and if we want boolean. So I'm just going to do this, and I just run here. So it tells me x is 10, Alice for name, this, and true, right? So I just print all of this. Then I do type of x. So this is just going to give me the type of the value. So I can add another cell here and just do, oh sorry, and just do print x if I really want to print like that, right? The same way I can do the same way I can just do x, sorry, so I can just do x, and also it prints me the same 10, right? So this is really cool for me to use, right? So what are the rules for naming variables, right? For naming variables, we are going to follow these rules, right? Variables contains only letters between a and z, and capital A and Z, and the numbers between zeros and 9. Then it can also take underscore, right? But variables names cannot start with a number, right? So you can have like 2h or two mangoes or two fruits, right? You can't do that. So also variables cannot use reserved words. So I cannot use things like if. I cannot declare a variable like this, like if equals to 10, right? This is wrong, right? So this here, right, these are all valid variables. So if I run this, right, they are all valid. Now on the other hand, if I try to do like for age is 60 and I run, it gives me an error that invalid syntax. So I can't do that, right? So another thing that we don't take into consideration that people minimize is that variable names are case sensitive. So if I do this, like age is 10, then I do print age, right? So it gives me an error also that age is not defined, right? It gives me an error that age is not defined. Now another thing that we have to note is that we cannot have spaces like this, name of my school, right? I can't do this, right? Let's say GS Down Beach. I can't do this. Actually, GS Down Beach is in Limbe, so yeah, so I can't do this, right? If I do this and I try to run, it tells me invalid off and all of that, right? So we can't actually do this, right? So now variable types, right? When we talk of data types, right? So variables can be of different types, right? So you can have integer that we've seen, we can have floating points, which are numbers with decimal points, we can have strings, which are text, we have booleans, which is true or false, and then we have list, which is just a collection of items. So for example, you make a list that you of things that you want to buy. So but in Python we enclose a list in square brackets. So I'm going to create a list and we enclose it in square bracket. And also, so for example, I can make a list of numbers, no, let's say fruit, right? So and in square bracket I just do apples, right, and separated by comma. So I do mangoes, right? So I can do oranges, right? So I've created a list of fruit, right? So I can just print out the list and just do fruit, right? So I just print that out. It gives me that. If I want to print all the elements in this, I can do for I in fruit, right? Print I. Oh, right, these are some concepts that we're going to see later on in the future, right? So and so we have tuples, which are immutable collection of items. So with tuples, they're immutable. What do we mean by immutable? It means that they cannot be changed once it's created. So and it is created with in round brackets separated by comma. So if I just change this square bracket to round bracket, right, like this, and this becomes my tuple, right? It becomes my tuple, right? So this is tuple. If I do now type of fruit, right, it tells me that it is a tuple, right? So that's cool. So now dictionaries also are enclosed in curly braces, and it's a collection of key value pairs, right? For example, all right, so we have person there. Now when we go to assignment of values, right, to a variable, so we've already seen like that. This list, this is a string, and this is an integer. So it's very cool, right? So we can also do multiple assignment like this. So I can do a comma b c, and I do like this. A will be 1, b is 2.5, and c is hello. As simple as that. Now I can also do, if all the values are the same, like now this, it will just give me x is equals to 10, y is equals to 10. Now type checking, which I was talking about, we can actually check the type of a variable. I've seen that already above by just using the keyword type around the variable, and you run it. It tells you that it's of class int and of class float. Now also now there is something that Python, we're going to look at this later on in the future, right, where Python automatically convert, you can convert an integer to a float, right, by just using the word float around the integer. And also you can convert it to a string. So we also have what are known as local and global variables. So a local variable is defined within a function and is accessible just within the function. So for example, y here is local, so we can print y just within this function. So if I try to print y here, right, if I try to print y here, so I'm going to fall it tells me that y is 100. Okay, so there was 100 that I declare up for y, right? You see here, right, 100. So y is 100 from above, not this 100 from here, right? Not this 100, not this 10 from here. So you see that y. So if I rerun it, because I didn't rerun, so if I print now y, right, in this scope, right, it's y. So right, you see it still takes that 100 that is defined right up there. So this one here, it means that this is accessible just here, but we have x there also. X, the value of x was there was okay, let me just put value of x comma x, right? So and I run again, so it tells me the value of x is 5, right? But remember where this y was defined as 100, right? X was also defined as 100 up here. If you look here, x is also 100, but now because we have to do another global variable, then it just replaces it. Now we also have constant. In Python we don't have a special way of defining constant variable, but by convention some people just use py, like capital letters. They just capitalize whatever to signify that it's a constant, but that is not a rule, right? Then the last thing that we have to do is unpacking a list. I think this is very, very important, so I'm going to do an example of this, right? What we mean by unpacking, right? So I can have my list, right? I can have a list like this, right? Let's say I'm going to do an example with let's say fruit, right? So I think I have fruit up there, so let me just print fruit. I think we did something with fruit. Yeah, that's good. So now I can do unpacking. I can have like A comma B comma C. Since there are 3 elements there, I just put fruit, right? So I can now print A, right? And A is apple, right? So I think I should do this, right? So go up one step and print me fruits, right? You see, so, and I just remove apple from there. This is very good. This is something that you're going to use a lot. So I'm going to end this video here, right? And some of these exercise you can try. Like I said, that these exercises are all found in this notebook, and the notebook is my GitHub account. So you can just go to the GitHub account and follow the notebook directly, right? So, and we are cool at with this and this video. So if you have any problem, you just let me know. If you love videos like this, then subscribe on our YouTube channel, then also share and comment.